Hey there, new patient group family. It is Coach Eric here, and welcome into this week's 5 Fantastic Minutes. It's great to see you again. Got a good thought to get your week started this week, and I'm going to be actually referencing an author. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's actually a child psychologist, a parenting psychologist specifically. His name is John Rosemond. And raise your hand if you know the name John Rosemond. Okay, maybe some of you parents like myself that have been at this game for a while, that might be a name you recognize. Maybe some of our newer, younger parents, it's a name I would absolutely encourage that you look up. But years ago, when my wife and I were expecting our first child, my mom bought me a book by John Rosemond. And then, of course, I was seeing him in the newspaper and things like that along the way as well. And so I'm going to read a little excerpt from an article that he wrote recently. And I want to use this as an inspiration into today's message. All right, so here we go. So Dr. Rosemond says, discipline involves 3 words that begin with the letter C: communication, consequences, and consistency. What do you think is the most critical of the 3? Right? Turn to a neighbor right now and share, out of communication, consequences, and consistency, which is the most critical of the 3 C's? All right, well, if you're following along with Dr. Rosemond, he's going to tell you it's communication. Right? The most important attribute of an effective leader, whether the context is a corporation, a charitable organization, the military, or even a church, is the ability to communicate in a way that motivates people to do what they are supposed to do, to want to do what they're supposed to do as well. Now, in his article, Dr. Rosemond goes on to relate it to parenting, right? But I think you'll appreciate it in any environment like he just suggested. Great communication is essential. If we want consistency, if we want compliance, if we want cooperation towards whatever that element may be, it all begins with good communication. So what does that mean? And as you think about this in your practice or from a leadership level or even interdepartmentally, is being clear with what you are asking of them. As you are instructing or guiding, be clear, be concise, right? Create and describe the appropriate expectation of what we want to accomplish. Right? And he goes on in there to talk about, oftentimes as parents, we communicate, but we do it in a wishy-washy way. We're not clear and concise. In fact, we might say, how about we? Or we might say, maybe we should. Or we often finish our communication with, okay? Right? And that's very indecisive, right? Rather is being more direct, of stating what it is that you want and need and expect, is going to get you so much further. Again, whether that be parenting or whether that be guiding and instructing your team or communicating with your teammates interdepartmentally, is being direct, not rude, but being direct. Creating a concise message, creating an expectation. Because when you do that, the action is more anticipated, right? We have a greater ability to measure the results. We have a greater opportunity to be accountable to what was created. We don't want to, a week later, 2 weeks later, all of a sudden discover that they didn't feel the communication was clear and that the expectation wasn't well set and they didn't really know what you wanted or needed from that situation. And maybe they're avoiding, but maybe it's the fact that we didn't communicate well the first time around. All right, so I hope you'll take that of great importance, is lead the conversation with good communication. And with that, you can create better accountability as well as consequences. All right, share some time to talk about this right now with your team. Maybe there's been some pitfalls along the way that have held you back from accomplishing goals. Maybe this is an opportunity to improve or acknowledge where we're doing well on this front already. But enjoy that conversation. We'll look forward to chatting with you on the next time that we come together for a 5 Fantastic Minutes video. Take care, everybody.